everyone. I'm Charlie Danis of Capital Athletics. Welcome to the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. And joining me now, the head coach of the Capital Women's Basketball Program, Dixie Jeffers. Well, Coach, let me start off with this really important question. How was your Thanksgiving?
Peaceful. It was good. Shared some time with some family, got the Christmas tree up, and fed the officers here at Capital, and got back for practice the next day, and everything's good.
You already got the Christmas decorations up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice to get that out of the way, right?
Well, it's all about timing. It's all about how much time do I have, so I have to fit it in when I can.
So this is the first time that we talked in a couple of weeks. So let's go over some of the wins that your teams have piled up here first. 64-47 victory over Mount Aloysius. That was a game in which you had to go on the road. And the defense was particularly impressive in that win over Mount Aloysius. You hold the Mounties to 27.1% from the field. What was working for your defense that day?
It was an incredibly physical game, long ride, 4-hour ride over to Pennsylvania, and then got out, and it was nothing but a slugfest. So I was really proud of my kids of how they played through things, and we just sat down and we guarded them. We knew them pretty well going into that game and so forth, and they didn't shoot especially well and helped us out a little bit. And anytime you go on the road and you can hold a team to that and rebound and be able to score and put the points up and defend, it's always good, and that's what we did.
You follow up that victory with a 73-51 win over Ohio Wesleyan. This was a game in which you dominated in the paint, 44-18. You and I talked about this last week, how you had a size advantage and you were able to take advantage of it. Has to feel good that you were able to pick your opportunities going down the lane. I
think the most impressive thing there was Colleen Faunacy. Showing up and being aggressive and having a little bit of a breakout game for us while we're still waiting for Shelby Sigmund to get back into the lineup and so forth. We did have a size advantage, but our kids still executed on both ends of the floor, played extremely hard, and we were fortunate to go on the road again and get another victory.
A lot of senior leadership on this team, but how important were those two road victories, especially with all the youngsters that you have on your roster?
It's huge. Whenever you can get a margin out, especially this early in the year, and you can play your bench, that helps develop your bench before you go into league play, and that's what we wanted to do, and we've been able to successfully pull that off. And the more times those kids go out there, they're not going to be as young as the next time they go out there, and they have to learn how to play hard, and they need the pace, and they learn how to focus on the bench to come in and figure out how to play coming in. It's tough because a lot of these kids are used to starting from their home teams, hometowns and so forth, and they come out here and now they have to learn a whole different role, and it's a tough transition.
We're talking with Capital Women's Basketball Coach Dixie Jeffers here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. And finally, Coach, this past weekend, a big win over Wittenberg to defeat the Tigers 70-50 in that one. Jenna Irwin had the standout game, 16 points in that win over the Tigers, but one player that really caught my eye was Annika Watchman. Played a little bit during her freshman year, but it seems like she's playing a lot more confident. She had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. How much progress has she made from her freshman year to now her sophomore year?
It's the difference between a freshman and a sophomore. There's an old saying that the good thing about a freshman is they become a sophomore, and that is so true. She's worked very, very hard in the offseason as well as the other kids, and she's worked hard on developing her shot in preseason here, and she's starting to knock that shot down. She seems to have trouble with the easy bunnies. That seems to be a problem for her right now. So once she cures that, it's going to be her growth. It's just started. I expect big things out of Annika as the year goes, as well as the rest of the team. I mean, it's still a very, very young season, and we have a lot of things to do and to get better on, and we just need to work every day.
How do you see the conference shaping up this year?
The conference is solid from 1 to 10. The parity is as good as it's been in 15 years. Any night out, you can get knocked off. You want to take care of yourself at home and then play like crazy and hope you get a few breaks on the road and come out with a victory.
Finally, Coach, random question of the week. Big news coming out of the basketball world today with Kobe Bryant retiring. Obviously one of the greatest players to ever step on the hard court. If you had to be a great basketball player for one day, doesn't matter if it was Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, any one of the greats, if you had to be that one person for one day, who would it be?
Be Larry Bird. I was a Larry Bird fan, and I liked his demeanor. He didn't talk a lot off the court, didn't talk a lot on the court, just went out and got things done and was a blue-collar type worker. And he flat out could just beat you in a number of different ways.
With all due respect to LeBron James, Larry Bird, greatest small forward of all time?
Definitely. It's a different time. It's a different era. just like if you look and compare now the championship teams back then to championship teams now, is it really fair? A championship's a championship. A great player's a great player. So I really don't like to compare teams. I don't like to compare players. It's who's getting it done at that time is great.
Now, those battles between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were
Awesome.
something fun to watch. Oh, yeah, they were fun to watch. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
That was head coach Dixie Jeffers joining us here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. For more, go to athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. We'll see you next time. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie Danis of Capital Athletics. Welcome into the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. Joining me now is the senior guard, Nina Napolitano. Nina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's go back to the beginning, Nina. Why basketball?
Why basketball? Well, growing up, I definitely tried my hand in many different sports, but basketball just was a calling for me, I guess. It's just something that I grew to like and picked up rather quickly. I love the competitiveness to it. I love the physicality to it. And it just kind of was my niche. I kind of grew apart in that and started growing up playing basketball. So
You grew up in the Akron area, went to Walsh Jesuit High School.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the basketball being played up there in Northeast Ohio.
Well, it's very competitive. Walsh is known, I guess, for its competitiveness in its athletics. They always have rather competitive teams and a very good program. And entering my class in Walsh, we were working towards going to state. They went to regional semis the year before, and even my sophomore year, we made it to state semifinals. So it was just a very competitive and a very embracing community and program.
Did you have a player or a favorite team that you looked up to when you were a kid?
Oh, I was a Cavs fan, definitely. Especially LeBron being from Akron, how can you not love him? I was a little heartbroken, though, when he left for Miami.
What were some of your favorite memories from your prep days?
We always had a lot of rivals growing up. We always played against Tobin and St. V's, and those are always the fun games to play. We'd always win, but...
Well, that always helps.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why Capital?
Why Capital? I love basketball. Coach, has a good program here. That's always one of the things that I was looking at schools. And it was also kind of they had what I wanted to do. They had a biology degree. And then it was a small school in a big city. I think that was the main selling point for me.
We're talking with senior guard Nina Napolitano here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. So you get here to Capital, you're a senior this year. I'm sure you got a lot of big goals, but to this point, what have been some of your best memories here in Bexley?
Well, in basketball, I will never forget my sophomore year. It was a fun ride. We were the underdogs. I think we were ranked 4th at the end of the season. We had the 4th seed going in the OAC tournament, and we ended up winning somehow. And we went on to the NCAA tournament. We lost to Ferrum by 3 or 4, I believe, but that game was definitely one to remember. It was a packed crowd. You couldn't hear anything. The environment was unreal.
This year, you've gotten off to a 5-0 start. You're picked to finish first in the OAC this season. Would you rather be the chaser or the chasee?
Preferably, I always like playing from an underdog position. That's just how I was always brought up playing. You just always got to work for what you always have to work for the next level. Always got to keep working and that kind of thing. But being up top, being top dog is an honor, and this league is very competitive. So being ranked number 1 is kind of an appreciation for people.
As I mentioned, you've gotten off to a great start, 5-0. Now you head into conference play. How do you feel about this team so far?
We're still working out the kinks, but every day we come into practice and just who's going to make each other better, who's going to push each other a little harder. So I'm very confident in it. I'm very confident in the chemistry that we have. We have a great group of girls here. They all really want to work hard and all want to get an opportunity. So very excited to see how it develops.
What do you think of the opening conference slate? Wilmington, Mount Union, and Ohio Northern to start conference play.
Definitely tough. In the past, Mount, Wilmington, and ONU always give us trouble. Our conference, like I said, is a really tough conference, and just every team, it's Coach always said, like, you never know who's going to win. Any team in the OAC can win at any given night. So everyone has to just come prepared, and we know that Wilmington, Mount, and ONU are going to give us their best games.
You're one of many seniors on this team. This is your last go-around for Capital. I know we're not at the point where we're counting down to the last practice, the last game, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, big goals. I'm sure that you want to have a great finish here at Capital.
Of course, yeah. Definitely coming into the season, the senior class as a whole, kind of talked to Coach, and we had set our personal goals as well as our team goals. And we want to have a strong finish. We want to make it back to the NCAA tournament. You know, we want to make it to the OAC championship again. So we're definitely very focused on those goals and focused on working hard every day.
I want to focus on you as a player for just a moment. Every time I watch you play, you don't have a problem throwing your body around, going after loose balls down there. Where did that hustle come from?
I don't know. I guess maybe from always, when I was younger, I was always the underdog. People never thought that I would be able to play at this level or be able to play at any sort of level. So my goal was always to outwork everybody. So I guess throwing myself on the floor or doing the little things that people don't like to do, I guess that was my way of getting to where I am now.
So finally, Nina, we always like to end these interviews with a random question of the week. I'm sure you heard the news about Kobe Bryant retiring after a very long career, one of the greatest players to ever step foot on the hard court. If you had to be one great basketball player, it doesn't matter if it was Larry Bird or Magic Johnson or even Michael Jordan, if you had to be one player for a day, who would it be?
That's a great question. You know, growing up, I probably would say my favorite player was Mo Williams back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought that you were going to go with the LeBron James card, being that you're from Akron.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've always liked Mo Williams. Why did you like Mo Williams growing up?
Well, when I was younger, I played more of a point guard position, and seeing him as a point guard, seeing how he distributed the ball, and him being on one of the teams that led us to the NBA Finals as a Cavs fan, it was very, very rewarding. I was like, oh, I kind of want to be like him.
And what was your reaction when you came back to the team after signing a free agent contract?
It was pretty exciting, yeah. I actually took his number in high school. When he first played for the Cavs, he was number 2, and I was number 2 in high school, so, yeah.
All right. Well, Nina, thank you so much, and good luck in conference play.
Thank you.
That was Nina Napolitano. Join us here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. For more, go to athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. We'll see you next time.